What is up, everybody? It is Mike and Phil here with Combat Sports Today. We're about to get right into it with a breakdown of UFC 316. Pretty solid card. If you're here or if you're popping in, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter as well. You can see that up in the top left corner. We got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the latest news, all the best things combat sports. How are you doing today, Phil?
I'm chilling. It's Sunday. I just finished watching Portugal versus Spain. My little brother was telling me to watch it, and I was like, dude, I don't know if I really want to watch soccer right now because I'm tired from last night, dude. Like, what did it show in last night? Like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
It was like 1 a.m. and I was like, fuck this, I'm going to bed. And then I woke up mad early, dude. I woke up at like 5 a.m. Just naturally woke up at 5, and I just couldn't go back to bed. So here we are.
That's brutal. We also had the French Open final today, which was an unbelievable showing. I know my boy in the sports chat was hyped about it.
What was that? I didn't hear that.
Uh, Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz had the French Open final in tennis today. Shit was intense.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get into tennis like that, to be
Dude,
honest.
I'm telling you, bro. I thought the same thing, especially when I was younger. I was like, man, we'd be playing football, basketball, baseball, fighting. Tennis is soft, bro. Especially the guys who I knew who played tennis. But then I actually go and watch, and it's like that shit is intense, man. One on one, all it is left, right, forward, backward. It's pretty crazy. I didn't start liking it until I started betting on it a few years ago. I was actually watching Carlos Alcaraz and Nick Kyrgios, and it was like this 4 hour grueling war, and I was like, that shit is impressive as fuck, bro. I could not do it. My knees would be RIP.
The only type of sport that I probably enjoy is when it's like just like aggressive, aggressive like physical contact sports. Like a sport like that, I just can't get into it. I don't know. I just like that's why I can never get into golf. And
Oh, I
I'm
love
like,
golf. I love all sports though, so I'm not even that motherfucker like me. I'll watch badminton. I'll watch cricket. Cricket might be my least favorite sport, but it's
yeah,
still.
you're the only person I know who watches it. So, anyways, let's talk about UFC 316.
Let's get into it.
What'd you think about the main event?
Main event. Pretty disappointed in Sean O'Malley. I'm not gonna. Well, it's not that I can't really take anything away from Sean O'Malley. Merab Dvalishvili, he's that guy, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, I know I'm gonna see it." Oh, Sean O'Malley got fraud checked again, bro. He's fighting one of the most dominant fighters in all of combat sports right now. 13 fight win streak, cardio machine. I mean, I've been saying this for a while. I think everybody at this point is in unison when we say that Merab Dvalishvili has the greatest cardio we've ever seen in combat sports. He looks fresher in round five than he does in round one. He actually got a finish. I know Sean O'Malley is going to be getting torn up on social media because he is not known for his finishing abilities, just his tenacious pressure and smothering attack. I was impressed. I was upset with Sean O'Malley. I thought he was going to come out looking better than he did. He was defending takedowns well in round two. It looked like the momentum could potentially be, swaying his direction. Uh, but Marab got him, 34 years old. He's still strong, still fast. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty much, unless Piotr Jan gets back, I'm rooting for Marab. I like Marab a lot. What did you think?
What's up, Chris Cushman? What's up, CST? What up, bro?
Was
Yeah, I can't lie. I had money on O'Malley just for the knockout prop because I'm not gonna lie. I fell for the bullshit and he's locked in. You know what I mean? He got this, yada yada. And I just like kind of like sat in my room, just thought, yeah, he got this shit. And because like, the first fight wasn't all that, so like maybe he couldn't do this. Maybe O'Malley can probably pick him apart this time. And it kind of started to look like that in the second round a little bit, like towards the end. I'm like, all right, O'Malley, he's popping back up from the takedowns and everything like that. He's clipping them here and there. Ram's throwing back. And then, yeah, reality kicked in the third round when he took him down and just submitted him, which is Maram's first submission in the UFC. And I don't know. I think that might be the second North South choke in UFC in the UFC title fight, if I'm correct.
Oh yeah, I know, dude. I can't. It was like a neck crank, and then like kind of looked like a Doris, and he's in north south position, and it's just like, ooh, poor O'Malley, bro. I hope he was at least choking him because when it was a neck crank, I'm like, bro, you ain't nobody tapping to a neck crank. Um, And yeah, he got it done, man. Merab's that guy. I fell into it too, bro. Me and Delinquent made the CST play of the week. We fell into two different bullshits. I was Sean O'Malley's gonna come back prepared. He's not gooning. He's not smoking weed. He's off podcasts. He's not on social media. He's locked in with the family. I thought I legit thought that could make a difference, and it looked like it a little bit. He was defending takedowns properly. It was his dad was ringside, like Chris Cushman says. Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for Sean O'Malley, but one thing I can take away from Sean O'Malley is that he took the L like a champ. He stayed around. Merab was talking for a little while. He stayed there. He just said, straight up, basically, Merab is better than me, and he sounded grounded. He said, I got a family. I got a daughter. I got another young kid. My wife. I'm gonna spend some time with my family, and I'll be back to it. So for Sean O'Malley has a lot of nonchalant shit talk, but he stood there and he took accountability like a man, and that was at least a good takeaway for me that his mind is in the right spot, win or lose. So I respected that.
Yeah, to be honest, at this point, I don't see anybody really being Merab. Maybe like it's biggest maybe is Umar if he had cardio in the last fight because he won the first 2 rounds in their fight, and then freaking Merab just took over the last 3. I mean, if he works on his cardio, bro, you think Umar has a chance?
Yeah, I think it's hard to say. I mean, the thing is, okay, so we got Merab is going to be fighting Corey Sandhagen,
Right.
and let's say he beats Corey Sandhagen. Does Merab or does Umar just get another title shot without having fought again? So is he going to just sit out until he gets another shot, or are they going to make him fight again? Because we got Piotr Jan is climbing the ranks again. I believe Song Yadong is on a little win streak. There's some solid guys out there. I know now that Mario Batista took out Patchy Mix, I know he's looking for some favors at this point. He's going to want to make his way up there as well. Got to get a Merab interview, guys. That's a tough interview. Merab's probably not doing too many interviews right now. What's up, going rounds?
Big E in the building.
What's up, Big E?
Yes, yeah, that's gonna be hard, especially him being a champion. Once these guys start getting more popular, they kind of forget about the little guys. So
right,
it's
he's
a
gonna be
little
on
hard.
Ariel Hawani, and that's it. But now Merab Dvalishvili, let's say he beats Corey Sandhagen. Does Umar need another fight? In my opinion, I think he does. So maybe they're gonna put up Umar against Piotr Jan, and then whoever wins that fight has next. I honestly think Piotr Jan has a chance.
Isn't Peter Young gonna fight Marcus McGee?
Yeah, but I like Marcus McGee, but I think Piotr Jan's gonna go. I think he's gonna show levels in that fight, and Marcus McGee is good, but I feel like the biggest threat to the throne right now, Umar probably, and Piotr Jan as well. I mean, shit, Corey Sandhagen. It's hard to say, man.
Do you think Corey Sandhagen deserves a title shot?
Yeah, I think he does.
Why?
The title shot has evaded him for a while. He pretty much is willing to fight whoever, even with an injury. I know he kind of did dirty in that TJ Dillashaw fight, which he would have had a title shot after that anyway against Aljo. He got robbed in the TJ Dillashaw fight. He doesn't end up getting the title shot there. He takes Umar Nurmagomedov on short notice. Unfortunately, he came up short. And then he got himself back in the win column. I mean, who else? Umar just lost the title shot after kind of getting, he got a title shot in his third fight in the UFC. Corey Sandhagen's been there. If there's anyone who deserves it more than Sandhagen, I would say it's Piotr Jan. But Corey hasn't fought Merab yet. So there's that. Umar just lost to Merab. Piotr Jan lost to Merab. Corey hasn't fought him.
If we're looking at rankings right now, Corey Sandhagen is ranked number 4 currently. Look, rankings wise, Peter Yan should be next. Like, he's on a 2-fight win streak right now. Corey's on 1. Peter Yan already beat Corey, But if Peter Yan's fighting Marcus McGee, which is who?
McGee's ranked number 13. Savage, bro. Just like when he was the number 1 contender, he fought Sean O'Malley at 11 or 10. And now he's doing the same thing again with number 13 and Marcus McGee. Piotr Jan is a savage, and I see a lot of people talking about how he's done and his time with title aspirations is over, but I do not think that's true. I would not be surprised if within the next year or two, Piotr Jan is holding that belt again.
I would love to see Peter Yan with that belt.
I know,
Umar
man. He's
versus
fucking
Mario.
awesome.
To be honest, after that performance from Mario Batista, yeah, he deserves a crack at the top 5. And then most likely, he would probably get Song Yadong, to be honest. If there was a fight to make for Mario Batista in the top 5, it's probably Song Yadong, right? I feel like Song Yadong's like a perfect gatekeeper for the top 5.
Yeah. Or maybe Cheeto Vera.
Cheeto just recently pulled out of a fight, right?
Yeah, they might.
Yeah,
They
it was the
might
Patrick
go.
Mix one.
They might make Figgy fight down and hold his spot. You know, he's getting older. They can build Mario off him. At no point in his career has it been looking like they're rushing Mario Batista up the ladder. So you think, oh, we'll give him somebody between 6 and 9, see if they can knock him off because of that lackluster performance against Aldo. But
I mean, he looked really good against Patrick Mix. But before we get into that,
yeah, I was about to say we're gonna get there.
I mean, anyways, Merab, do we think he's the bantamweight GOAT at this point?
It's hard to say. I mean, Aljo had it for a while. I always still thought it was Dominic Cruz. TJ Dillashaw's in that argument. You know,
I mean, just based off the resume, right?
Yeah, well, the win streak is incredible. It's just some people, you know, it's all up to, you know, each individual's opinion. And Merab doesn't necessarily come with that explosive, striking, finishing style. So some people could be like, no, I like TJ Dillashaw better. I think he was greater. Or somebody says,
Better.
oh, Dominic Cruz was an innovator of the division. But in terms of pure dominance, it's hard to deny Merab, especially if he gets another one under his belt. Like if he takes out Corey Sandhagen, fights Piotr Jan or Umar, and beats, especially if he beats Umar again, I think he kind of seals the deal there.
Because he's only won a title defense from tying the record with Aljo. Because Aljo has the most title defenses, which is 3, which is not a lot, surprisingly, bantamweight. So he's defended the title against Sean O'Malley and Umar, which he looked great in both fights, to be honest. And the win streak before that was Sean O'Malley when he won the title. Cejudo, Jan, Jose Aldo, Marlon Moraes, Cody Stamann, John Dodson, Gustavo Lopez, Casey Keeney, Brackettone, and Tyrion Ware. That's a fucking killer streak, I ain't gonna lie.
There's some solid names in there.
I mean, Chris, you can argue, I guess Cejudo and Aldo is kind of washed, right? That's what some people will throw up.
Well, I mean, Cejudo looked good in that fight until he injured himself. I think he broke his arm or some shit in that fight, or his hand. And Cejudo was looking good. And with Aldo, it was kind of just a similar kind of thing with that third round against Mario Batista, where Jose Aldo would not go to the ground, but he could not get Merab off him. So he's kind of just holding Aldo there in a stalemate with dominant position the entire fight. So, you know, he scrapes by a decision victory. But, you know, a win is a win.
Shout out Vinny.
Shout out Big Vinny. You already know the vibes.
So if you were to put your top 3 right now, who would it be from 1 to 3?
In the bantamweight division?
Yeah.
God, I feel like I'm going to sound like an old head if I say Dominic Cruz is number 1.
I mean, it's fair. He was number 1 for the longest time.
Yeah, he was so good, and he was always dealing with injuries. I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe Merab. I mean, it would have been cool if we got to see Merab and Aljo, but I'm gonna have to go top 3. I don't know. Dominic Cruz, TJ Dillashaw, Merab, not in any specific order.
I'll probably go Merab, Dominic Cruz. I want to put TJ, but like him having that drug thing really kind of ruins his whole case.
The CEO of BPO.
I'd probably go Aljo. I mean, Aljo beat a lot of good guys, but like it wasn't as decisive as like freaking Merab, you know?
Yeah, and also there's always going to be that narrative for people who were here for it when he took the belt off Piotr Jan because of the illegal knee.
Yep.
But Aljo is great too. There's just a wealth of talent in the bantamweight division.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for Sean O'Malley next, I would like to see him rematch Peter Yan because that fight needs to get run back 5 rounds.
That would be fucking sick.
I don't even care if it's a co-main event or something. Just run it back, bro. Because I thought Peter Yan won that fight, but
I actually did, and I fucking love Piotr Jan, but I actually did think Sean O'Malley took it 2 rounds to 1 just based on damage.
Mm.
But at the same time, if the fight had gone to Piotr Jan, I wouldn't have been screaming robbery.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny too because that day was actually my birthday, and we was at the bar, and it was an Abu Dhabi card, so it was nice that you get to go watch a UFC fight in the afternoon.
Hell
Freaking
yeah.
as soon as everybody, I mean, as soon as the scorecard said Sean O'Malley won, the whole crowd in the bar just like what?
Bro, the dogs were barking that day. I made bread. Benil Dariush beat Gamrot. Bilal Muhammad beat Sean Brady.
Yep, I had Bilal beating Sean Brady. That was a great day.
Yeah, that was, dude, it was sick when Benil Dariush dropped Gamrot. Honorable
Shout out
mention, Henry
Telvin.
Morale. Hey, that's a person who's been watching for a while. I fucking
Telvin knows
love
ball.
Henry Morale, bro.
Shout out to Tevin.
Yeah.
I always comment on the CSC Instagram page. I appreciate you.
Yeah, good looks on the Hennenbrow shout out. Yeah, he was awesome, man. I remember I loved Hennenbrow so much. And when TJ Dillashaw came along, before I started liking TJ, and he just fucking beat his ass, I was so sad, bro.
I remember hyping up the boys like, yo, Henan Barral, the pound for pound best fighter on the planet, 32 fight unbeaten streak, whatever. And then when you really look back at it, like some of those like wins were like against cans. So it just like he basically stat padded his whole record to get into UFC. Dude,
He
ever
was
since he
good though.
well, and once he fought TJ, I think TJ took his soul. And he was
Yeah.
never the same after that fight, bro.
I mean, shit. TJ did the same thing to Cody Garbrandt, and I used to hate TJ for that too, because I remember just knowing in hindsight. Because when I thought about it, I was like, man, I really thought Cody was gonna win, and he just fucking got his chin destroyed. And then when when the EPO stuff came out, and I would just like look at TJ with disgust, bro. Like, how dare he? He's literally borderline fucking killed Cody Garbrandt, ruined his career.
What up,
Was
fight
that fight
talk
talk
only?
only? Yeah, Vinny says I hated TJ but miss TJ now.
Dude,
I
honestly,
agree.
I appreciate TJ so much now.
Yeah,
Is I was like, damn, when he left, I was like, fuck. Like some of the division, like some of the guys, like I'm not the biggest fan of, and I just really enjoyed TJ's style and
hmm
what he brought to the freaking division. And then he failed his freaking drug test. I'm like, bro, and he was gone for 2 years, bro.
as a wrestler too. Like he transformed his game into such a well-rounded. He was so good at striking, and also TJ Dillashaw's fight IQ is second to none, bro. I still watch him on the Jackson podcast when he's doing like breakdowns and recaps, and everything he has to say is always so like informed and knowledgeable. So I do like TJ a lot.
Shout out Miguel Torres. WAC never dies. Shout out Uriah Faber.
You already
Shout out
know.
who else? Scott Jorgensen. Let me see if we can try to name some other
That's my
names.
vitiligo, bro. One of my OG. That's me and Melky Costa's homeboy.
Shout out when Demetrius Johnson was a bantamweight. Joseph Benavidez when he was a bantamweight. A lot of those guys dropped down to flyweight. Thank God.
Look what Fight Talk says.
Yo.
We're about to cook him here soon, bro. That needs to be talked about expeditiously.
All right, let's just get into the Kayla fight because, like, honestly, I don't really have too much to say.
Yeah. The
But other than that,
craziest shit about the Kayla Harrison fight, bro. In round one, my buddies were rewatching the Coco Golf tennis match on the second TV, so I'm the only one who sees it, bro. Juliana Pena's on bottom position, double rakes, and then with both legs kicks Kayla 4 fouls, double rake of the eyes, and then a right and a left up kick, all to the.
it was
face,
actually 3
bro.
up kicks.
I was like, yo, that's like 4 fouls, 5 fouls, bro. Like,
Did you hear when she was talking to the ref? He's like, "Hey, you
nah.
can't be doing that."
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know.
That's
What do you mean?
crazy.
You kicked the bitch like 3-4 times in the face. And I'm so happy the ref took away a point right away instead of giving him a warning. Because you're a champ, bro. Like, you should already know the rules by now, you know?
Yeah, they need to do that more. I mean, especially when it's like just blatant like that, and it's like, bro, you upkicked her 3 times after you raked her eyes with both of your hands. Like, it was so blatant like that in her face. It's like, what were you trying to accomplish there?
Dude, it was funny. When I was watching the fight, right? I was telling the boys, because we were watching on Discord, I said, dude, I'm so tired right now. And the way this fight is going, it looks like it's going 5 rounds. So like I like move my monitor like towards my bed, and then my mic, you can extend it, right? So I move it towards my bed and I just laid down. And as soon as I laid down, right, because Kayla was still on top with like 10 seconds left in the second round, fucking grabs that arm, fucking cranks that shit. Come on, she taps. I was like, yes! I jumped out of my bed, bro. I was
I'm
so happy. I
dead.
was like, let me go to bed early, bro.
I,
It's almost 1 a.m.
I know,
So
bro.
I
And it
was so
was
happy
funny
Kayla
too.
got it done.
My boy who never watches fighting, he finally came over to watch it with us. And in the first round of the Harrison fight, he's like, "When's the main fight?" And I was like, "It's next, bro." And I didn't want to say it, but I was about to be like, "This shit's going 25, bro. It's going to be 40 minutes till we see that next fight." And then inevitably, Kale Harrison got the tap,
Dude, I was
plus
so happy.
160 by submission as well.
Dude, I was so happy that ended quick. I was like, oh
Mhm.
yes, yes, I could go to bed early. I just need O'Malley to win by knockout, and I hit my parlay, and that didn't happen. I just went to bed sad.
Yeah, so biggest takeaway from this one, Kayla Harrison will be Kayla Harrison went full Frank Mir. She did, didn't she? She should have held on to it longer like Frank. Um, but no, Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes for the undisputed title. Nunes coming out of retirement. That's pretty exciting. And Kayla, she has an insane weight cut that lasts for 2 weeks. Um, but she makes weight. She fights Amanda Nunes. Somebody is going to make a statement in that fight. So I'm excited about that.
I think Kayla Harrison's the favorite too. I think she's like a minus 170. I'm not even joking.
That's interesting. I think that line's gonna flip.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
Because
probably.
she's been Amanda's been out for a while, so and Kayla's a monster, bro. I can't. I
She is,
sometimes I
bro.
think
But we've
she needs
seen
to be
that.
tested.
We've seen that Ketlin Vieira fight. She couldn't, and then same with the Aspen Ladd. I don't want to. I know that was at 155, but Aspen Ladd was holding her own, and at points of that fight, later in the fight, she was having her own success. I
How
think I think Kayla's gonna cut weight one more time against Nunes, and I think if she wins, she'll retire. I think if she loses, she retires.
dude? If she retires after beating Amanda Nunes, bro, I don't think that. I don't think she'll retire. I don't think she can't really because like you're gonna have to rematch her. There's gonna be the theory, the people saying, "Oh, Amanda Nunes came back after 2 years, 2-3 years, whatever, and then she was rusty, so at least give her a rematch."
But
I
her
think that's what
body,
the
dude.
narrative's gonna be spinning around.
I don't know if her body can do it.
I mean, she was talking about her weight cut in the press conference. She was like, "Only God helped me with that last pound to cut and stuff like that." And dude, she looked drained.
It sounds crazy. What she was. I was listening to her on Full Send, I think it was, and she was explaining what she does, and I was like, that sounds fucking horrible.
Yeah, honestly, I don't want to see her cut any more weight, dude. She's naturally 145. I mean, not naturally, but
She's
it'd be
naturally
easier,
190.
bro. She's a big chick. To be honest, if there's any fight that I want to see her fight, any other fighters I want to see her fight, is Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg. To be honest, I feel like she beats Chris Cyborg and she beats freaking like Amanda Nunes. She might be just straight up the GOAT, to be honest. Greatest woman of all time.
Hey,
The
Larissa
GOAT.
Pacheco. Larissa Pacheco.
I mean, Pacheco, she already beat her twice too. I mean, I don't
Exactly.
even know what's going on with Pacheco. Like, she's
Well,
still PFO. What?
Pacheco got that one on her though.
Yeah. But then like the other two fights, I think Kayla already like submitted her or whatever.
Yeah, that was earlier around. I mean, Pacheco's pretty good, but she's big too, bro. I guarantee Pacheco ain't making 135. Cyborg
Dude,
is not making 135.
she used
Um,
to make 135 in the UFC.
yeah, but she's what, 42?
Is she? I
I've
don't
been
know.
watching her since I was a kid, bro. I remember I was watching her one time when I was like 12 or 13, and she was beating up this blonde chick, and this girl was just crying. She was on top of her beating her, and she's crying. And me and my friend were like, "What the fuck, bro? Why is this girl crying?"
Nunes beats her regardless, I think.
I think
Yeah, I
so
can see it.
too.
Trilogy with Nunes lasting 5 years to keep this vision going. Honestly, there's nothing going on in the. Maybe there might be some up and coming chick, but I don't know. The division's kind of dead. Honestly, with Kayla winning and Amanda coming back, it kind of gives some life to the division. Let's see. Cyborg won't come back, unfortunately. Yeah, most likely not. She's over here fighting in Scott Coker's like regional promotion in San Jose. Kayla versus John Jones. Fuck it. Bet you John Jones takes that fight too. Hey man, that's a money fight.
He's
The first
experienced.
intergender fight.
He's
All
got
right,
some experience.
let's get to what everybody wants. I guess they want us to shit on Patchy Mix, right?
The feature bout
Oh,
of the evening. Oh, we got this one first.
we'll just go through this quick. Kelvin Gastelum, I think he's washed at this point. Yeah, he still's got a chin. He still can't get knocked out. But
I
yeah,
think he's better than Joe Pyfer, dude. I mean, in my opinion, he won round 2 and round 3. I mean,
you can
Pyfer,
make a case that he won.
Pyfer's not all that
I was
he's
saying
hyped
it.
himself up to be, but
I was saying it to my boy. I think he's a overhand merchant.
yeah, I was thinking he was gonna, take the same path as his colleague Sean Brady and grapple, and he just wanted that knockout so bad in round 1.
I mean,
Found
he
out
almost
that he
got
wasn't
it.
going to be
He
able to
almost
do
got
it.
it.
Yeah, bro. Kelvin Gastelum's chin is something of legends, bro.
Anybody else is getting knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, he got caught bad on his fucking neck, dude, and he
Uh,
went down, comes right back, man.
I think Joe Pyfer probably gets a like top 15 opponent. I mean, he's won 2 straight. He looked solid in this fight. Looked great in his last fight. If we're looking at the top 15 in middleweight,
I know who we give him.
who we giving him?
I think we got to give him in this because you don't if the UFC's still thinking like, okay, we can still market Joe Pyfer because he kind of brings a little bit of noise. We don't want to push him up too fast. So I feel like the most sensible matchup for him in the top 15, honestly, is right in at number 15 against Abus Magomedov. Because you could say, oh, you could give him a Brendan Allen, but shit, Brendan Allen might run through him. Rainer de Ritter is going to be fighting Robert
Robert
Whitaker.
Whitaker.
Roman Kopylov is fighting Costa. Marvin Vettori just fought. Brendan Allen will probably smoke Joe Pyfer.
Hey, Vettori and Pyfer could be a good one.
Yeah, because Vittori's another dude with a granite fucking chin.
Yeah, he just lets himself get cracked, so it could work for Joe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, I think Kelvin Gastelum. If I'm in the UFC, maybe I'll keep him around, but I don't know. I wouldn't even mind cutting ties with Kelvin Gastelum at this
He's
point.
fun, dude.
At this point, he's just there to build up the new talent, right? And I don't think Kelvin Gastelum wants to be there just as a guy as a stepping stone. I mean, if I had the choice, I mean, I'm like, hey man, go to Dirty Boxing or go to freaking BKFC, man. I'm pretty sure there's bigger fights for you there. Like, come on, Mike Perry, Calvin Gastelum, bare knuckle. That's a banger right there. But then Joe Pyfer, give him that top 15. Give him like Marvin Vettori or Abus Magomedov. Any of those guys, I'll be satisfied with.
I think Abus would be a good test, honestly. That'd be a good test to see where he's at. Because I feel like Abus is a little bit more dynamic than Marvin Vettori. But he looked horrible and he's like, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know what's next for Joe. He looked horrible. I don't even want to talk about middleweight, bro.
All right, next one. The one that everybody's waiting for, which is Patchy Mix's debut against Mario Batista. Yeah, Mike, you go first.
Yeah, man. So when I saw this fight get announced and I'm looking at my phone, Mario and Patchy, first phase, that's a tough matchup for Patchy Mix, bro. And Mario Batista is one of those guys that kind of goes unnoticed, but he's so well rounded and he's very, very fast. And initially, I was like, that's a really tough matchup. But then, of course, out of my own fandom for Patchy Mix, my own hype that this new prospect, 20-1, is coming over. He's going to break through. He's talking the talk and he's going to walk the walk. I like really built myself up to believe it. Like, Patchy's going to do it, man. He's going to go out there and he's going to make a statement. And we have a new contender coming into the bantamweight division of the UFC. And I really started believing that. And then they're walking out, and I'm like, I don't know, bro. And I was just surprised more so at Patchy Mix's. He was very flat. His striking,
no head movement.
Bro, it looked like I could go out there and whoop him. I couldn't believe the way he was fighting. I know it was on short notice and he's been shelved for like a year, but based on what he was saying, he stays ready so he doesn't have to get ready. Like he's really, I was kind of shocked, man. And I knew Mario Batista was going to be a tough test, but that right hand was landing flush all day. Like he didn't have any adjustments. I don't know what his corner was telling him. I was pretty disappointed, but Mario Batista fought a great fight.
Yeah, he gave Patchy the Batista bomb. This fight really reminded me of when Sean O'Malley fought Chris Moutinho. He kind of just stood there and just took a beating. I was like, honestly, like I was so disappointed in Patchy in this fight. I was like, not, and I was also sad because I'm a Patchy fan. Always shows love to the page, so shout out to him. But this fight, man, I had a lot of people texting me like during the night, just like, dude, I thought you said Patchy Mix was good. And I was like, fuck, dude.
Me
He
too,
looked
bro.
honestly because he he's known for his grappling, right? He has what 13 submission wins. He didn't even tap a takedown to the third round, and it was like a half-ass takedown. Barely clinched him up, and he just stood there, bro, and just as a punching bag. And it drove me nuts throughout the whole night. I'm like, dude, like you gonna clinch him at least, like cut corners or whatever. And like Mario Batista just had an easy ass night there, bro.
Yeah, bro. He showed, kind of it's kind of the narrative that we have been on as like a whole in the MMA fan base. Like the UFC is different. And,
Mhm.
guys come over like Eddie Alvarez, Chandler came in hot. He was a little bit older. Pitbull is older. So a lot of these guys are coming in and kind of getting checked. But, like you said, me, you, a lot of guys, like we love MMA and motherfuckers have been hip to Patchy Mix for years. And it was like he's finally here. He's still 31. He's 20-1. He's gonna come in here and he's gonna make waves. I just had to believe it, you know. And
Shout out Rush Hour. Shout out Rome. Also,
I wish we got to see. Yeah, shout out Rome. Shout out Rush. Shout out everybody who's in here commenting. Everyone in the chat. Big love. Um, put
he
a
went
like
from
on that. Put a like on that joint. Hit the like on that. That little thumbs up.
he went from I'm a 3-time world champion. This guy's a journeyman for I submit him to took the fight on 3 weeks' notice against a guy who's on a 8-fight win streak in the UFC. Dude,
When he said I'm looking through him in the press conference. So
right there.
as what the young people are saying, he was aura risking, and I loved it. When he said that shit, he was like, "I'm looking through you." I was like, "Okay, Patch, talk that shit." And but then at the same time, it's like, bro, you got to be careful saying shit like that because when you say shit like that, put it out into the universe, you believe shit like that. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get right through Mario Batista, and then I'm next. That bantamweight title fight, I'm next, and it's like,
You know,
this guy,
Don
you're
Davis
fighting.
was smiling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mario Batista's good, man. It is what it is, but he's good. Yeah, I don't know what's next for Patchy. I mean, he debuts against number 10.
And he got whooped by number 10. That's the worst part.
I mean, look, so we got Eamon Zahabi at 11, Kyler Phillips at 12, Marcus McGee at 13, who has a fight, Montel Jackson and Vinicius Oliveira. The bantamweight division is fucking deep. Like, at this point, who does Patchy beat in the top 15? I mean, you would think he could probably submit as a hobby, maybe Montel Jackson. But the thing is, Montel Jackson got a piston,
Yeah.
and Vinicius
I
Oliveira
don't
has
know,
dog.
brother.
I don't know if he beats anybody in there after that performance. I want to. I mean, I
Dude, I
don't
don't
know.
know, bro. I'm telling you, that performance was bad, bro.
It was. It was. Man, bro, I fucking love Patsy Max. I can't believe that shit happened, bro. And it's almost like I knew it, but then I just refused to believe it. And I even told my boy, he was like, "You think Patchy's got this?" Before we got to my boy's crib, I'm telling all of them because they just watch UFC. Patchy Mix, he's been on the radar for years. Like he's finally here. He's still young. I'm super hyped, and everyone's like, "All right, let's go, Patchy." And they're like, "Yo, what the fuck is this Patchy guy doing, bro?"
Patrick Mick is elite level B tier promotion fighter.
I still like Patchy Mix, man. I hope he can come back. Maybe he was nervous. He's been on the shelf for a while. You
Just got
know,
cokers rolling over his grave and he ain't even dead yet. Dude, oh my god. I can't I just know Patrick Mix is not this bad. Like
exactly. Regardless of how it went, what he displayed in the octagon on that night, last night, that is not a proper representation of Patchy Mix as a fighter. Um, I think he'll be back better. He certainly received a bit of humble pie there, and hopefully at his young age, he's 31. Hopefully he uses that as motivation to make some adjustments and come back better because I think Patchy Mix is a lot better than he showed us on Saturday night, which is a shame for all these UFC fans who were not familiar with him. But I think he's young. He is time.
he just needs to win impressively in his next fight and get back on the winning track.
Yeah. If he can come out and finish somebody, I don't know who they're gonna give him. I have no idea. Like if they give him a Vinicius Oliveira, he might be cooked. You know.
We'll see what happens. Alexander Volkov's the only Bellator guy to have a winning record in the UFC. Says a lot.
Well, Volkov's
Yeah,
just old,
but Volkov's a dog, to be honest.
and he
But
should
like
have
some of
beat
these
Cyril
like the
Gane.
Bellator guys that the UFC guys bring in is like sometimes they're like kind of like past the prime, you know, like Chandler and Pitbull. Like most recently, like MVP, like these guys are already like the mid 30s when they come over, you know. I think Aaron
MVP's
Pico,
filthy though, bro. 38 years old. He is moving like a young man. Um,
Aaron Pico might have the best chance, in my opinion, to really make a name for himself, but he's getting thrown to the wolves, bro. He's never had a top contender fight in Bellator, but he's getting a top contender fight in UFC, which is kind of wild.
I don't think that fight's gonna go too well for Aaron Pico.
I hyped them up to all my buddies, and I got flamed in the group chat, dude. I feel you on that, bro.
So did I, bro. I had people. Like, first of all, if you're gonna take gambling advice from somebody, you have to be, you got to be. I'm a grown man, okay. I have to do my own research. I got to look into my own stuff. I had people betting on him because I've been a fan for a while. Yo, is Patrick gonna win tonight? And I'm like, he has to. Yeah, he has to. And then they're hitting me up afterwards, like, bro, I thought you said he was good. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm just as shocked as you, bro. I'm more shocked than you are.
The worst people are the ones that brag about taking the opposite fighter and just rub in your face, bro.
Right. I
Especially
always
when you
knew
had,
Mario was gonna win.
I told you, bro. I told you. You don't know shit, bro. Yeah, those are the guys that are
Y'all
the
was really
worst.
betting on Patchy at -200.
And they make it go on for like a whole week, bro. I'm like, bro, let it go. All right. I lost my bet. Let me be a loser in peace. You know what I mean?
Bro, as a fan, I was upset, man, especially because he was about to come get that get back for Jose Aldo. Patchy versus Yanez is actually a pretty solid matchmaking, right outside of the rankings, getting back on track.
Yeah, why not? Right? I mean, Patrick did not look like a top 15 guy, so he doesn't deserve a top 15.
Yeah.
But you'll see why we'll probably put him give him a top 15 opponent just cause. Ooh. Anyway, let's move on to this fight. This fight made me sad. Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. What is this? Is that a Kevin Holland card?
Signed Kevin Holland card. Thanks to Josh. Shout out Josh. PSA graded.
Dude, I would sell that card to be honest. I
Hey,
don't want
Kevin
that
Holland,
shit. I don't want that shit.
one of my favorite fighters ever.
Is he really?
Yeah, bro. Ever since he got to the UFC, and I remember when Kevin Holland debuted on short notice, there was ranked contenders saying no to Thiago Santos, and especially hearing Dana White bring it up, he's like, "Yeah, everybody was saying no. Nobody wants to fight Thiago. All right, bet. Let's see if Big Mouth will take it." Called up Kevin Holland. You want to fight Thiago Santos on short notice? He said, "Yeah, I'll fight him." And then he goes out there and he held his own. He didn't get finished by a much bigger human, and he had that year in 2020, I believe it was, 5 fights, 5 wins. He set a record. And to this day, he's still the most active fighter for how long he's been here in the history of the sport. So, although he's a bit of a wild card, I fucking love Kevin Holland. And he went out there and he did his thing. I was really impressed with him, and it's funny because my buddy before the fight, he goes, Kevin Holland Darce choke. And I was like, I don't know, man. Luke is kind of the guy with the Darce chokes, even though Kevin
Yeah.
Holland has some of his own Darce and Anaconda chokes. It's crazy. Nick called it too. My buddy Bob and my buddy, obviously Nick, Nick, they both called it. Someone's getting choked. And, people were calling Vicente Luque washed. I thought he looked pretty good, all things considered. Kevin Holland is a tricky puzzle to solve at 170.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where any of these fighters go after this fight. Like, Luque's just continuing to move down. Kevin Holland, he'll fight anybody, anytime. But he's always good for like a pay-per-view opener, whether he shows up or not. So, I don't know what's next for Kevin Holland or Vicente Luque. There's not really much to gain from this fight.
I know what Kevin Holland's doing next.
What is that? Dropping a rap video again?
My boy Kevin Holland is fighting Colby Covington. Let's go. And I think he has a shot.
I'm not saying he doesn't have a shot. I don't want to see him talk shit to each other.
So Kevin Holland will be the number 14 ranked welterweight. Colby Covington is sitting at 9. Gilbert Burns just got finished. Jeff Neal recently pulled out of a fight. Steven Thompson and Kevin Holland are not running it back. Carlos Prates is probably looking up in the division. So I'm saying at 14, Kevin Holland, realistically, even without the Colby Covington call out, if I'm Kevin Holland, the most realistic fight is Colby Covington. And I think he had a perfect call out. You know, he said, I'm not looking to fight below. I'm looking for the worst fighter in the division, and that's Colby Covington. And I thought that was a genius call out, especially because it's a wrestling heavy fighter.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to see how Kevin Holland's takedown defense holds up at 170. It has pretty well so far.
I just say give him all the strikers, bro. Why not? At this point, like I'd rather just see him and Jeff Neal running back. I think Jeff Neal has a loss against Kevin Holland too.
Yeah, he got sparked. I bet you he gets sparked again.
Could happen. It could happen. Let's move on to the next fight. So we're almost about an hour in already.
Chatting for the algorithm, guys. Thank you, Juan. Throw a little thumbs up on the video too.
Appreciate you, Juan.
If anyone's in here, throw that thumbs up on there.
Is that an N64 shirt? I see you.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right, Josh Van, Bruno Silva. Plain and simple, Josh Van whoop that ass, boy. He whooped that ass. He fucking pieced him up all 3 rounds, bro. I don't know how many times did he drop him.
3 or 4.
Was it 4? How many knockdowns? Did he have knockdowns? 3. 3 knockdowns.
Yeah.
Landed 125 significant strikes. 58% of the strikes, bro.
Yeah, he looked fucking incredible. The Myanmar Marauder, that boy looked incredible. Josh Van is only getting better. He's 23. Is he 23 years old?
He is. I think he might be 23, dude. He was a minus 750 favorite.
And he looked like one. And Bruno Silva, I mean, because you're looking at this card, the majority of matchups on this card included a heavy favorite. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, minus 570 for Josh Van or minus 700 for Josh Van is like kind of steep based on how tough Bruno Silva is and how well he's fought in the past against high-level competition. I, of course, picked Josh Van, but I'm going to say I didn't necessarily see him beating the brakes off Bruno Silva the way he did, especially to drop him the way he did in the first round. Like, Manel Kape got a finish over Bruno Silva he was taking all Manel Kape's best shots. An unfortunate nut shot led to the TKO finish for Manel Kape. And Josh Van went out there and just gave him hands. Takedown defense on point. You know, his footwork, even dealing with the leg kicks. He's going to need to start checking them more in the future. But even with the leg kicks that he was taking, he was dishing out his own. He was moving well. He was fast. He has the best hands in the division.
That's not Charles Johnson's got to say. Charles Johnson.
Is that oh yeah. I mean, yeah, Charles Johnson is that guy though. And he's a savage in his own respect. We love Charles Johnson over at Combat Sports Today, but you know, Josh Van is young and he is only getting better. And I'm super excited for what he has to do next. Yeah, let's see. Who does Josh Van fight next?
I think he deserves like a Steve Erceg or Asu Amabayev.
So he's coming 12. Asu Amabayev is a good test because that'll really show us what it looks like when he has to defend a lot of takedowns.
Mm-hmm. I think Alex Perez just got booked. Oh, I think Perez is fighting Tatsuya Taira.
All I know is give him anybody except Tagir because Josh Van is a little bit small for 125, and Tagir Ulanbekov has got to be the biggest 125 I've ever seen. So as long as they don't give him Tagir, I think anybody above him. Tim Elliott's scheduled to fight. Steve Erceg probably won't be given a fight with a lower ranked guy. I think Josh Van.
Erceg is fighting.
Who's he fighting?
Actually, it might be Asu.
That's a fucking good fight.
It might be Asu. Oh shit.
And if they were looking to fast track Josh,
oh, Van, he's fighting Alex Perez.
Okay, so Alex Perez and who? Steve?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Asu Amabayev, I mean, that's a dangerous test to give an up and coming stud because he's gonna be spamming takedowns, most likely. But I feel like that's a good matchup for Josh Van to show what he's got in terms of the takedown defense. Yeah. His takedown defense is incredible. It probably is a little bit underrated.
Asu is actually fighting Ramazan Tarimov.
Oh yeah. Didn't they already fight? Or no, they didn't. He fought Kape.
Yeah.
That's a good matchup. Tamarov and Amabayev is a fucking banger, I guess. I mean, shit. It's Murderer's Row at 125, bro. Josh Van could fight Manel Cop, bro. Fuck it. Throw him in there.
McCop is fighting Brandon Royval, bro. A lot of guys are
God
booked.
damn, bro. So the whole division is already fighting. So
I actually might think Tyra is the only available one.
I mean, that's a fucking nightmare, bro.
Dude, they
That's a
were
fight.
scheduled to fight at one point.
No matter. Oh yeah, they were. So that looks like it could be the one because it doesn't matter who you're picking in that fight. If you're on Tyra or you're on Van, all I know is right up to that fight, and when it starts, you're gonna be nervous as shit because we do not know what's gonna happen in that one.
Ugh, never mind. Fucking Tetsuya Tyra is fighting a Mirabazi.
So the entire division is booked. Literally every single person is booked
Joshua
except
Van was talking
Tagir.
about fighting Brandon Moreno.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a massive step up.
I mean, because at this point, what? Josh Van's gonna be ranked number 12. I mean, I don't see why not. Just because the UFC's like they will do that sometimes when they want to push a guy really fast, you know.
Hmm.
And I think Joshua Van's a Jason House guy under Team Iridium, and Sean Shelby like just loves like Jason House apparently, so he gives him all his fighters like top contender fights. Because remember when Diego Lopez fought Brian Ortega?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like there's a couple other guys that just got boosted up to their fucking rankings. So
I mean, Josh Van could be a star, man. He's got a little bit of charisma too. When he was doing a little pre-fight and he smiled at the end because he's like talking about his improvements. He's like, "Tune in UFC 316, watch me beat that boy's ass." And he's got a little bit of charm. You know, he could be marketable.
I can
Young
see him.
kid, exciting. I just say anyone but Tagir, bro. Just don't give him fucking Tagir and Bekov. Run it with Moreno. That's going to be a more exciting fight anyway versus some guy pinning him down.
He says he wants Brandon Moreno in San Antonio for USA Noche UFC.
Texan versus Mexican. That's actually a good
Exactly.
call
You
out.
saw that shit. Texas
Yeah,
versus
yeah.
Mexico. All right, next fight. Azamat Murzakanov versus Brenson Rivero. This is pretty simple. I mean, Brenson Rivera has a weak chin. I already knew he was going to get knocked out. That was kind of like one of my locks of the night. Because
Mhm.
Azamat's going to knock him out, whether round 1, 2, or 3. I think he was originally supposed to fight Johnny Walker, but then got Brenson Rivera.
Oh, thank God. Speaking of
Azamat's pretty
Johnny
good,
Walker,
dude. Johnny Walker will probably get knocked out in the most funniest way possible again.
Johnny Walker, PSA 9,
Is this
signed.
all from Josh?
Shout out Josh. Yeah, dude.
Dude, Azamat's actually 15-0, and he's won his how many fights? Won 4 out of his 5 UFC fights by knockout. Dude, he
Only
could be
went
a
to decision
marketable.
with Jacoby, and Jacoby was on death's door in that fight as well.
So I mean, this guy's looking legit, bro. I mean, he probably getting a top 10 fight next.
You know
Uh,
who I think they should give him?
I mean, he's ranked number 12. I mean, does he really move up? Probably 2 spots the most, right?
That's what I was thinking. Give him Nikita Krylov coming off that because Nikita Krylov needs to get back in there. And after a performance like he put on against Dominic Reyes, I think that he's going to need to hold his own spot in the top 10. And I think he could try to hold it against Azamat Murzakanov. If not, Volkan Ozdemir at number 9 also looks good.
I say honestly, the UFC is kind of at that point where they're desperate for new contenders. I wouldn't mind him fighting Jan Blachowicz.
But you don't want him to get killed off though, because it's like this electric striker who has like a skill set of almost especially for his build, a skill set of a smaller guy. And he's a sniper. Like if you put him out there against a top guy and he just gets starched, it's like fuck, bro. We just blew another one. Which is what they did to Avis Magomedov at middleweight. They just killed him.
So sometimes you got to see what you got, right?
Yeah, Jan Blachowicz is a tough fight, bro. That's a tough one.
We're not acting like Azamat's a fucking young prospect either.
Yeah, but he's what, 34?
36.
Okay, yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
you could still, as Glover showed us, you could still, excel
the
later.
heavier division, the more longevity you could be in the sport.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, shit. Jan Blachowicz isn't bad. Alexander Rakic is a nightmare, in my opinion.
Got a little guest here. Say what's up. Yo, Mike.
Yo. Hey, what's up, homie? He's like, yo, who the fuck is that? Damn, he said I was ugly, bro.
No, he don't like being picked up like that. He's chilling in the back. He wants to get up, but I'll get him out soon. But yeah, I mean, Ozma, I think he should just get a top 5 opponent at this point. Because he's 36, dude. Let's just why not? Let's just see what we got. You know?
Yeah, Blahovic is on the way out too. 42 years old, I think now. So Blahovic is going to have to defend it or lose it.
Yep. All right. That's where we're going with. Next fight: Spivak versus Waldo. All right. I got flamed for this one too because I said Spivak's winning this fight. Yeah, he just kind of like similar to what Patchy Mix was doing, kind of. I mean, he kind of just turned to a striker in this fight. Didn't really shoot for much takedowns. I mean, also wasn't successful when he did. I mean, props to Waldo Cortez for, being the more active striker, defending all the takedowns, and, edging out the win. I did think the scorecard was kind of questionable, though. 30-27. Like, there's no way this fight was 30-27. I thought it was 29-28 Waldo or Spivak either way, but Waldo was more active in this fight, so props to him. That means he moves up the rankings into the top 10 now for being ranked 11, being the number 7 guy. And I guess the UFC needs new heavyweight contenders, right? So Waldo's making his way up, right?
Yeah, I honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I would have wished that Sergey had tried the wrestling more. He was giving up almost 30 pounds in weight. I'm sure that didn't help. And when it came to getting Waldo down, Waldo did impress me though. I thought it was 29-28 Spivak, but at the same time, it's not a robbery either way. It was a close fight.
Yeah.
I felt like Spivak landed the better shots, but Acosta was landing a lot more, and he was doing well in terms of like defending the takedown. Waldo Cortez and Costa, I pick against him every fucking time, and he always wins. So I can't hate on him too much. I know Jay likes him, so I fuck with him. But if he's gonna pop in number 7, like at this point, dude, it's hard to deny Waldo Cortez Acosta. Like even that was a razor thin fight. I can understand why they would give him the decision. But who does he fight after that? Maybe Curtis Blades.
Curtis Blades is fighting next weekend, not this upcoming weekend, but he's fighting against a guy they just thrown in there. I think he was like the what was it? That was like Khabib's promotion.
They're doing him like that again?
Yeah, they giving him some Dana White Contender Series guy.
Wait, did they never fought? The Royd guy from PFL.
Yeah, they never fought, so they're fighting next week in Baku.
Same guy?
I don't know. I'm not even the biggest Waldo fan, to be honest.
He's all right. I mean, Sergey Spivak is good as fuck. I told my boy before the fight, if Waldo wins this fight, he might be for real because Spivak is not coming out here losing to no bums,
That's the champion he was in UFC, I believe. UFC still going. I think it might be still going in Russia, but who knows, man. I mean, Derek Lewis fights what in July, I believe, against Taliesin Teixeira. But UFC the heavyweight division fucking sucks.
I mean, after coming off a win against number 7, you got to push him up a little bit. So, I mean, who's he going to fight? Because the top 6 is all really good. I would say if Curtis Blades is already fighting, Sergey Pavlovich is coming off a loss or a win.
He beat Biggie Boy in that terrible fight.
Oh, yeah. Give him Pav, because Pavlovich had an underwhelming performance after losing to Volkov. Pavlovich known for his explosive striking, but at the same time, Waldo Cortez Acosta, he's got some crisp boxing of his own. Let's give him a
He could piece up Serg. Honestly.
Yeah, he might.
He might have the better hands. Sergey's more explosive, but
Waldo can eat a shot too. Fucking Spivak landed a couple bombs on him. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I think Waldo and Pavlovich is the most. I think it's the fight that should happen next, probably. I mean, if you could go Volkov, I think Volkov pieces him up, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Volkov will get him down. Spivak couldn't get him down. I bet you if there was a need for it, Alexander Volkov's getting him to the ground. He should be next for the title. He got robbed against Cyril Gane. It was one of the most blatant, heinous robberies I've seen in some time. Volkov is that guy, bro.
I'm a Volkov fan. I'm a big Volkov.
Me too, man. I love him.
So, yeah, I mean, Waldo versus Pav, and then Spivak, Jamil Gazayev, maybe, Mick Parkins. I mean, I don't really care for any of these other heavyweights, really. it's looking pretty bad. So I kind of want to skip
Martin
this fight.
Buday in the top 15 is crazy.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the next fight.
I'm drinking this big ass water bottle.
Chaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson, aka the neo-Nazi guy, apparently.
This was crazy, bro. This was crazy. This was one of the most impressive performances of the night, in my opinion. What I thought was going to happen was, okay, Andreas Gustafsson already cut last week. Now he's coming. He's 34 years old. I think he's 34 years old. He's coming in. He's cutting weight again. And they're doing him no favors, giving him a power striker like Chaos Williams, who has a decent amount of experience in the UFC. And we saw how Andreas Gustafsson fought on Dana White's Contender Series. And in my head, is he going to do that to Chaos? Probably not. And then he did. He beat the fucking shit out of him. And I like Chaos. I'm a Chaos Williams fan. He's a cool guy. He's a great fighter. Solid, not great fighter. He's a good fighter. He's tough. Yeah. And Andreas Gustafsson would just get him on the cage and brutalize him. And then when he would fight, and to Chaos Williams' defense, he was defending very, very well. There was this dude, cardio, insane. Chaos was defending very well, and it just, it wore him out. And by the end of the fight, he was a bloodbath.
Yeah, Andreas Gustafsson looked good, bro.
It was impressive.
Man, to be honest, I was like kind of half-ass watching this because I was watching WWE Money in the Bank on the side.
Hey, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, prelim fights. I like when UFC and like WWE are on the same time. I tend to watch WWE during the prelims. So like, I seen a lot of guys talking about how he gave him a mauling in this fight. I'm not gonna speak too much on it besides like my comments on him. Like I thought he looked like a Swedish Johnny Sins. If you know, you know. But yeah, I mean, he looked good. Horrifying. I seen what Chaos Williams looked like after the fight. I was like, damn, nobody does that to Chaos Williams.
Exactly. It was. I'm not even joking. I told my boy when we were watching it, and I love violence, but I like Chaos a lot. And I was like, I'm kind of uncomfortable watching this, bro. Like you could see a guy who Chaos didn't look scared, but it looked like it was just like, there is nothing that I can do to stop what's happening right now. And I was so unbelievably impressed with this Andreas Gustafsson guy. All I know is if I'm one of the UFC welterweights right now, outside of the rankings, I am nervous about that phone call that says you're fighting Gustafsson, because this guy is a fucking freak. I think the only, like, the way that you beat an Andreas Gustafsson, and Chaos Williams was defending so well, so Gustafsson it's going to need to be somebody who's really strong, who can just keep him away, because even when Chaos would get off him, he would just lunge at him with these thudding strikes right back into a clinch, right against the fence. It was grueling, man.
Yeah, most of the fight when I was looking, I was just like against the fence. So, anyways, next fight: Wang Kong versus Ariana Da Silva or Lipski. Wang Kong fucking chopped the legs down, bro. It was pretty bad. I mean, they were getting like these like brawl exchanges, and then like they would just like back off. I mean, a lot of those brawl exchanges that happened, it was just like, ooh, like I don't know, man. Because I had flashbacks of Wayne Kong getting dropped or rocked in that last fight when she lost. I was like, I don't like this for her. I don't like this for her. But she managed to get through those exchanges and chop the legs down, especially with a chick who's 7 pounds overweight too. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, Wayne Kong lived. I wouldn't say she really lived up to her minus 575 odds. She didn't look like the biggest, like, the greatest world beater, in my opinion. She chopped her legs down, but it was an okay performance, But that was fun. Good fight.
Yeah, Wayne Kong was pretty good.
Wayne Kong might get a top 15 opponent, depending what's next. I don't really know.
Should.
I mean, I don't really know what to say about this fight, really.
She's about to be third. The only thing, it's sad with Ariane Lipski. Apparently, she had a tumor like in her pituitary area or something that was like causing a bunch of hormonal issues, and that was the reason that she wasn't able to cut the weight, because she's typically good about being on weight, if I'm not mistaken. So apparently, she's having some health issues. Still came out and fought. I'm gonna be honest. Ariane Da Silva looked pretty good. She did have a massive weight advantage. At least she wasn't trying to grapple and weight bully. But if I'm looking at it, Wang Kong is going to be number 13. I think you give her, let's see if old reliable Viviane or Rujao can keep the gates. Or Jessica Andrade. That's actually a good fight. Jessica Andrade, probably.
I think she caught out Jessica Andrade. Some chick did. right? I think somebody called her out. Casey O'Neill, maybe could be next, right? This flyweight, so I don't know. Maybe. I mean, definitely gonna be ranked. So Miranda Maverick, Tracy Cortez. Any of this chick is fine, to be honest. Like, I'm not gonna be sitting here like I follow women's MMA like that. Yeah, I mean, whatever you say, Mike, I'll agree with you.
I say Andrade or Viviane Araujo, maybe even more so Andrade because you know there's that background with Wang Kong beating Valentina Shevchenko in Muay Thai. So outside of that blunder with Gabrielle Fernandez, you want to give her. See, we got another striker in Jessica Andrade. Get her in the top 10. If she beats her, you give her another striker in Alexa Grasso. She beats her, she gets a fast track title shot. If Valentina Shevchenko is still the champion, and then they can push that narrative.
Not bad. We'll go with that. I trust your instincts. All
I think that's
right, let's
perfect,
go.
bro.
Let's go to the knockout of the year right here. Jakar Sarek, I cannot say that name, versus Ju Sang Yo. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I usually don't like scream when I'm by myself watching fights, bro. When I put this on, I was like, all right, let's see what this guy from Zombie Fighting, which is Korean Zombies promotion. Let's see what he got. People's been talking about him. He was like 8-0, minus 520 favorite. Like, let's see what he got. Bro, he knocked out the fuck out of this guy, bro. It was like one of the nastiest knockouts I've ever seen, too. And it was like a short check left. And fucking, he just face planted, bro. I don't know, like the way he was fighting kind of gave me like McGregor vibes, bro.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I just see a lot of superstar potential in this guy.
I'm all in. I'm all in on Juice hanging out, bro. I'm all in on him. I couldn't, bro. I said it. I mean, the fight lasted fucking 25 seconds. I was like, because some of my buddies don't watch as much as me.
Yeah.
So when we're watching it, I'll like give them a brief background of each of the fighters. And the only thing I had time to say was this guy Ju Sang Yu is a 5-1 favorite. Boom, and everyone in the room, oh my god, bro. His face was so flat on the canvas, and his legs were still in the air. It was that shit was brutal, man. And then just to add in, at the end of the fight, he comes in and he's like, yo, I'm here to finish what the Korean Zombie started. I'm here to bring that belt back for Korea. And I was like, let's go.
Yeah,
I'm
I
all
love
in,
that
baby.
comment, dude. I love it. Everybody was on Twitter were just like Zombie Junior, Zombie Junior.
Yeah, man. This was beautiful for the featherweight division. If this guy can be given the proper matchmaking to like build him up, because he's 31, so he's not that young. I think he's 31, 32. You got to build him up proper, but quick, because this is a crazy division. There's a lot of good fighters in here. So you want to be smart with him because he could be a star.
I agree. I think this could be the guy that brings him back to Korea.
Oh, that would be sick, bro. I'm all in. I love the Koreans, bro.
Me too, bro. I've like, wow, I forgot what year it was, bro. It was like 2016 or something like that when the UFC was going to Korea. I'm like, dude, the UFC, there was like a Korean wave at like one point, right? It was like Doo-ho Choi, Benson Henderson was Korean, Dong Hong Kim. There was the other Dong Hong Kim. There was like two other Korean guys that were just coming up in the division, bro. It was just so fun to watch. And yeah, they just didn't work out, to be honest. Because a lot of these Koreans have that military duty, which they had to do like 2 years of.
Yeah,
So
that's
kind of
kind of
like,
bullshit. That fucked up Korean Zombie. His
so all
prime.
that like kind of fucked up everybody's career. But man, I would love
Hopefully,
to.
this guy already did his, bro.
Dude, there's a league in Korea. It's called Black Combat League. Shout out to Isha who put me on. Dude, they got some killers out there, bro. I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
I
they got
believe it,
killers out there. They got like
bro.
their own like Ultimate Fighter show out there. And guess who they had for like people coming on?
The zombie?
Zombie, and they had Jose Aldo coming in and
Fuck
shit
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So
They fight like savages, man. The Koreans fight like savages. First of all, Korean food is gas. The Korean fighters fight like savages. Korean film. Motherfuckers, they're doing something right over there, bro. Because there's a lot of good stuff coming out of Korea. And I think it will be cool to have another big star after the Korean zombie. If he could bring home the belt, that would be massive on the world stage.
I'm telling you, man, all that kimchi gives them power in their hands, bro.
They got that spicy ass kimchi. They're lit out there.
All right, next fight: Quinlan Saliki versus Yana Ashmush. What do you think about this fight? I was kind of half-assed in watching this as well.
When I was looking at the odds for breaking it down, I was in
Let's
my
go.
head, I was thinking,
Cre-
I feel like they're kind of discounting Ash Moose. He's not the best fighter ever, but at the same time, is he really going to be a 3-1 underdog against Quillen Salkild? And he looked good in the striking. Quillen Salkild, was using his grappling and wrestling because obviously, Ash Moose blitzes forward with explosive strikes. I think Quillen Salkild is a pretty quality prospect. He seems to be very well rounded. He was able to eat some big shots. He got bloodied. He responded well. He stuck his tongue out and went back to the grappling, threw a couple of his own big shots. Quillen Salkild, in round 2 of that fight, I was like, yeah, maybe he is. Maybe I was wrong. He is looking like a minus 400. Ashmoose put the pedal to the metal, but it was too little, too late. And Quillen Salkild, he could be a solid fighter in the lightweight division. He is. How old is this motherfucker? He's got to be.
Quinlan?
Quillen Salkild. He's 20, 25, going to be 26 this year. So he's pretty good, man. I think he has a solid future with the promotion. Ashmoose might want to go down to 145. If Ashmoose can make 145, I could see him making waves potentially there, but he's a little bit short. His reach is not the best for the division. Quillen Salkild look good.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the victory. Like, he looked pretty good. Pretty tall fighter, I believe. I'm correct, right?
Yeah, he has some length too. His I think he had a 7-inch reach advantage as well, in addition to a 3 to 4 inch height advantage. He's pretty good. I think Quillen Salkild, if they develop him properly, could become a ranked fighter at some point within the next 2-3 years.
Nice. All right. I believe this is the last fight of the night. Well, first fight of the night, but Markel Medeiros versus Mark Chowinski, which is the APC lightweight champion. I believe he was scheduled to fight for the welterweight champion too for APFC, but then he got the short notice call to fight Markel Medeiros. I believe Medeiros is from Dana White's Contender Series, if I'm correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this fight, Chowinski was getting his leg chopped up, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, he came in on a week's notice, so I kind of props to him for showing up. I mean, it sucks, when you get a week to prepare for a guy like this. But yeah, props to Medeiros. He got the win. Chop Chowinski's leg. Chowinski is a dog. I'll give him that. Eats a lot of big shots. Took a lot of leg kicks, and I think he'll look better in his next fight. I've seen him fight before. He's pretty good. So
Yeah.
Medeiros, not too sure. I'm not. I mean, there's so many Dana White Contender Series guys I can barely keep up with.
I think
But
Medeiros is good, man. I think he's good for sure. But Mark Chowinski, hey, when a motherfucker has that little goatee, the way he has it, that little Keith Jardine joint, he's gonna be tough as fuck, bruh. And I seen him on a week's notice. The way he looked at the weigh-ins, he looked incredible, man. He was in shape, ready to go. So I think Mark Chowinski, he's a good wrestler. He's a professional. He was able to come in, make weight. He looked fucking proper on the scales. He showed that he's tough. I think that who's to say what's gonna Key the Dean of Mean, Keith Jardine, baby. Fuck yeah, bro.
you already know.
Telvin's on point, bro.
Shout out Talvin. He's the man.
Yeah, for real, bro. He brought up Hennenbrow. He knows Keith Jardine. All right, yeah, he's been watching for some time now. Yeah, Mark Chowinski, we'll have to see more from him because the biggest takeaway I got from him was that he's resilient. He can eat some big shots. That obviously is not going to get you that far in the UFC. You're going to have to show some, offensive success as well. But I think Markel Medeiros is a decent prospect. He looked good. He did what he was supposed to do. And he was a minus 148, bro. Everybody was tripping because he pulled out with an illness. And they're like, oh, he might get wrestle fucked. He showed up and did what he needed to do. Fan since '05. Fuck yeah, dude. I'm right around the same time. I probably started watching when I was
Same.
maybe like round '05, but I was like fully into it by the time I was 12. So 2007, I was like fully in on it.
Yeah,
Um,
we're old, man. I mean, I'm gonna be 30
yeah,
by October.
I know, bro. I'm about to be 30 right after you. Yeah,
Uh,
man. It was all in all, it was a solid card. There were some decent takeaways. I mean, based on the odds, like we know there was a lot of heavy favorites. We at least got the Jusang Yu knockout of the year contender and new with Kayla Harrison setting up a fight with Nunez. A quote unquote, super fight, kind of. Uh, there are some decent takeaways. Kevin Holland is back. He's looking to stay at 170. A
I
new
mean, the title
contender.
fight's delivered, right?
Yeah,
So we got finishes. I mean, Kayla really, yeah, she won the UFC bantamweight title, but I think the real win, the real prize was fighting Amanda Nunes, and honestly, that's a lot of big fight feel, and I'm really excited for that fight because like Merab and Sean, I wasn't that excited about it, but I was kind of just excited to see if Sean O'Malley could show up at this time or not. But like we know how good Amanda Nunes is, and we just saw how good Kayla Harrison is. She just destroyed Juliana Pena, which Amanda Nunes couldn't do in 5 rounds. So we'll see what that fight. I'm actually hoping it'll go maybe in the fall, right?
yeah.
Maybe latest is probably December. I think it happens by the end of the year. It could be between October and December because there's no pay per views in September. So maybe October, November, or December. So
Yeah,
either one of those months.
they're probably gonna tag it on a big card with a lot of names. Get a showcase women's fight in there.
I think it's gonna be MSG, right? I think the main event is gonna be John Jones and Tom Aspinall, and then the co-main event is Nunez and not Pena, Harrison.
That would
Dude,
be
that's a
sick, bro.
and put that on MSG, dude. That's a big fight feel right there. Like you get the greatest of all time, and then the greatest women fighters of all time on the same card. They have to do it, right?
Hell yeah, dude.
It's
That
only
would be
one time you
sick.
can have two goats in a pay per view card, especially at the prime. Well, Nunes might not be in the prime, but just see James Sandman Irvin, Corey Sandman Hagen, real motherfuckers know
That's a deep ass cut, bro.
that is a deep ass cut. All right, before we go, because NBA Finals is on, baby.
Oh yeah.
Let's just look at the next card real quick, and which is Usman and Buckley. I don't want to go over the whole card. Just want to take a quick look at it. Usman, Buckley, who do you got?
I'm a Joaquin Buckley believer. I always have been. I'm a big fan of Joaquin Buckley. Some of my buddies say he's cringe, and I'm like, man, he's trying as hard as he can, bro. He's got a little bit of talk skills, and also underrated about Joaquin Buckley. He has a very high fight IQ, and when he breaks down fights, when he talks about certain situations in fights, he knows what's going on. He understands the game of fighting very well, and I think he is a serious threat to the welterweight championship here in the next year. So
Yeah,
I think he's gonna get past Kamaru Usman.
I think Usman's on the way out. I mean, kind of seems like the whole division. Gilbert Burns losing, Kobe Covington losing. The old guard
Yeah,
is getting out, and the new guard is in. So yeah, I got Buckley. Maybe he'll finish him in this fight. To be honest,
that would be big.
and then we got Rose Namajunas, Miranda Maverick. I'm not gonna sit here and like I'm the most excited person for this fight.
Yeah, I don't even, man. I wish I
It's a
was more
co-main
excited.
event, dude. Like, dude,
That's nutty.
it is what it is, I guess. Hoping Miranda wins, just because you want to get the new guard in, right?
I don't think she's gonna win, bro.
Probably not. I don't think we're winning, to be honest.
Yeah, that's gonna be Rose dancing around the outside and picking her shots and staying away from the wrestling.
Legend Killer Tour for Buckley. I love
For
that.
real, bro. Buckley is really taking some names, and he's been looking really, really good at welterweight. I think he's the dark horse of the division. Like, if I'm anyone in the division right now, I'd rather fight someone else than Joaquin Buckley.
Shabazian Andre Petrovsky. I can see Shabazian getting this win over here. Like, nah,
Probably.
I wouldn't be so shocked if he lost because he let us down a lot, but Petrovsky's not bad, and so is Shabazian. I mean, I'd probably go Shabazian in this fight. Maybe he could finish it. Maybe, who knows? But I'm not really looking not too excited for that fight as well.
Yeah, that's it's this card is kind of being carried by the main event, but Cody Garbrandt and Ione Barcelos. Now that right there is an interesting fight, and I think my Maryland boys fighting on this card too. All right, um,
Mansour Abdul Malik, didn't he have that nasty knockout in Dana White's Contender Series?
yeah, he's a pro. Oh, he's fighting my boy Cody Brundage. No, oh no.
I know
Hey,
you're a Cody Brundage stan.
Hey, just for Telvin right here. Cody Brundage, I bet on him 3 straight times for first round knockouts. He cashed me 3 times in a row. The second one was against Jacob Malkoon. I had like $100 on it. I had 75 left in my account on DraftKings. I put all 75 more on it. So I got 175 on this motherfucker to finish Jacob Malkoon in the first round, getting his ass kicked. I'm like, I'm an idiot, bro. Why would I do that? And then the illegal elbows to the back of the head, DQ win, TKO, round one finish for Cody Brundage. That's why we call him Cody Brundage around here. And then he
There
got the
you
knockout
go.
slam.
Menenfield and Amar C.
Oh, that's a pretty good one.
It's not
That's
bad.
actually pretty good.
I think the placement of the card is kind of weird.
Yeah, that should be the third to last fight, probably.
Yeah, I think Umar might win this fight. He's kind of like on the up and coming. A lot of the Metafield, he's game, but like I don't know which one's going to show up. Like
Yeah,
remember when he showed up,
Menifield.
decided to become a striker with Carlos Ulberg, especially rushing at him.
Yeah, that was the dumbest shit we've ever seen in the history of fighting. Probably. My buddy was on Alonzo Menifield that fight too, and I was like, bro, be careful betting a lot on him because Ulberg is good. And then he was like, I just feel like he can make it close, and then he sprints forward like a Juliana Pena and gets chinned by an elite striker.
Dude, yeah, I don't know. But, I go Umar. Just I feel a little more safe.
Yeah, I mean
Dude,
they're giving him that number 15 spot for a reason. This should be a showcase for him here.
okay, this is kind of weird. Maybe this card's not like fully put together yet. Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato. I'm surprised Bellato's fighting after being tested positive for herpes.
Well, yeah, I mean, bro, you know how many fighters probably have herpes, bro? Like I remember even back in high school when we were wrestling, like in the gym, like somehow kids would get the shit on their like shoulder or like their back. And it's like unfortunately it's worse than staph because now you just have herpes on like an outer part of your body.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll probably go Paul Craig. I don't think Rodolfo's good. I think he's
Yeah,
kind of
fuck
trash.
yeah, dude. Hey, my roommate is from Scotland, bro. Grew up in Scotland and everything. Anytime Paul Craig has ever fought, I've always picked him, and that will not stop here.
A couple OGs during this fight, Chiesa McGee. Probably go Chiesa.
I'm rooting for Court. I'm rooting for my boy Court. He's been sober for a long time. He's a real fighter. That's a tough fight for Court because he is getting older. But this could be a little grappler's delight, and at a little bit of a lower level. It could be fun.
Honestly, this card's getting a little bit better. It's not the worst card now. Like after looking at some of these fights, because
I
I
can't
mean,
believe how they're doing Chris Moutinho, bro.
dude, apparently 5 guys rejected Malcolm Wellmaker.
And Chris Moutinho, tough as a motherfucker, bro. And he's coming out there. He's gonna get his ass beat.
Shout out Milford, Massachusetts, baby.
I hope he can win, bro. If he can somehow win, I just feel like there's gonna be a devastating. And Chris Moutinho got a chin, so I feel like he's gonna get dropped real bad, and then he's just gonna get TKO'd. Hopefully,
Yeah,
the
he's
ref
from my
stops it.
area.
He's tough, dude. And I know you said they're against cans, but since he's been out of the UFC, 6 fights, 6 finishes, and they're still giving him this absolute killer in Malcolm Wellmaker.
They don't like him in the UFC, apparently.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna use you once, and then we're gonna give you another killer after you lose this one.
Curdy Durden versus Jose Ochoa.
Oh wow, that's a banger. There's no way this fight is this low on the card, bro.
I think it's the unofficial fight card, to be honest.
Jose Ochoa is a dog, bro. He brought the fight out of Lonnie Kavanaugh in his last time out. I'll give that one I mean, I love Cody Durden, so we'll see what happens with that one.
Ricky Simone, Charles Lane. Yeah, this card is definitely out of order.
There's bangers on here, bro.
Yeah, like I think they like mixed it up the whole card.
Yeah, bro. There's those 2 fights, Ochoa, Durden, Simone, Jourdain. Those are fucking bangers.
Simone's the only person to stop Merab in the UFC.
Yeah, and he also just beat Basharat. I'm surprised he's not fighting up.
Dude, he killed Basharat, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Nasty.
Come on now. We picked him too on the show.
Oof. Phil Rowe, Ange Lusa.
Ange Lusa should win that fight.
Yeah. Vanessa Demopoulos, Jamie Lynn Horf, which is the last fight.
First God. If that isn't the first fight of the night, that's disrespectful.
I hope it's the first fight of the night, to be honest.
Hey, here's a lock right here. Jamie Lynn Horf, Vanessa Demopoulos. Winner wins by split decision, bro.
Yeah, we'll go with that one. But yeah, honestly, like the look of the card, yeah, it's not that bad. It's in the crowd, State Farm Arena, Atlanta. I mean, the co-main event is whatever. But honestly, through the whole card, it's not bad. I mean, it's not the most beautiful card in the world, but
Some
I think it
sneaky
should be
good fights.
entertaining.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, I think it's time to wrap it up because you know what I'm saying. The boys got NBA playoffs. You know what I'm saying.
Let's go Pacers, yes sirs.
Let's go Pacers.
You
I
already
hate
know.
OKC, bro. No, I don't hate OKC. I just hate. I'm not a big fan of SGA, the free throw merchant.
I'm a Halliburton fan, baby.
Halliburton, baby, Halliburton. What the hell?
What the hell? You already know what's going on. I'm so
4-game winners in NBA playoffs.
unbelievable.
Indiana, you need to build yourself a statue.
He's the clutchest player in sports, bro.
Right now in the playoffs, Halliburton, Pacers in 6. Let's put it out there. I'm going for. I think Pascal Siakam might win the Finals MVP because you know Halliburton don't really need to score. He only scores when he needs to, and which is hitting game winners.
Bro, he got dog in him, bro. That's anyways, a good team.
Mike, send us out.
All right, y'all. Telvin, everybody else who's been in here, we appreciate you guys joining us in the live chat. You already know what the fuck going on. We're rooting for the Pacers out here tonight. We got another banger of fights next week. Come back with another recap next weekend. You see it in the top left. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Follow on Insta, Twitter, and Facebook. You already know how we're coming. We'll see y'all soon.
Peace.